Welcome to AI Explains. So today we're looking at a paper from back in 2019 that basically called out the most famous AI model at the time, BERT, for slacking off. The paper's called RoBERTa, a robustly optimized BERT pre-training approach.
Yeah, the name sounds a little dense, but the core idea is actually, super simple. Imagine you have a friend in school. Let's call him Bert. He's one of those kids who takes a test without really studying, maybe skims a chapter for 5 minutes, and still gets an A.
Right, so everyone thinks he's a genius.
Everyone thinks he's a genius. But then the researchers behind this paper kind of looked at him and thought, hold on, what if this kid actually tried?
What if he actually applied himself for once?
Exactly. The whole mission of RoBERTa wasn't to invent some new complicated AI brain. It was just to take the BERT we already had and make it study hard. They realized the original model was just, well, significantly undertrained.
Okay, so let's break down this new study routine. If I'm trying to explain this to, say, my 12-year-old niece, what's the first big difference between the lazy BERT and the hard-working RoBERTa?
Well, the first thing is just the reading list. It's a huge difference. The original BERT model read about 16 gigabytes of text, mostly books and Wikipedia.
So like just the school textbooks?
Pretty much. It gives you good grammar, sure, but maybe not a feel for the real world.
Yeah.
RoBERTa, on the other hand, went to the whole library and the internet. It read 160 gigabytes of text. That's 10 times more. They added news, web pages, stories, everything.
So it learned how people actually talk, not just how textbooks are written.
That's the idea.
Okay, so it read a lot more. But the paper makes a really big deal about how it's studied, something they call masking.
Yes, and this is probably the most important part. Masking is, it's basically a fill-in-the-blank puzzle for the AI. It sees a sentence like, the cat sat on the blank, and it has to guess the missing word.
And the original BERT used static masking. What was wrong with that?
Well, think of it like your teacher giving you the exact same worksheet every single day. If the puzzle is always the cat sat on the blank, you eventually stop thinking. You just memorize that the answer to that question is Matt.
You're not learning the language anymore. You're just memorizing the answer key.
Exactly right. So RoBERTa switched to dynamic masking. Now, every time the AI sees that sentence, a different word is covered up.
Oh, I see.
One time it might be the blank sat on the mat. The next time, the cat blank on the mat, you can't cheat anymore.
You have to actually understand the context because the test changes every time.
It forces genuine understanding. Now, while they were fixing that, they also realized BERT was doing this chore that turned out to be a total waste of time.
You're talking about the next sentence prediction task,
Yeah.
NLP.
Yeah, that's the one. The game where BERT had to guess if sentence B was the real sentence that came after sentence A.
And that didn't help.
The researchers found it was basically busy work. It didn't really help the AI understand language much at all. So for RoBERTa, they dropped it.
Just got rid of it completely.
Yeah, completely. Instead, they just fed it really long, continuous passages of text, full paragraphs, sometimes up to 512 words long, so it could learn to follow a long train of thought.
So it's like they told it to stop playing guessing games and just go read a book.
A much better way to put it, yeah. And then there was one final big change, which was about how much it studied at once. Batch size.
Right, I remember seeing that. The numbers were crazy.
They were. BERT studied in these small chunks, batches of 256 examples. RoBERTa studied in massive groups, batches of 8,000.
Wow, that's a huge jump.
It is, and it not only helped the model learn faster, but it surprisingly made it way more accurate on the really hard final exams, like question answering and reading comprehension.
So bringing this all together then, RoBERTa didn't need a new brain. It didn't need a fancier architecture.
Not at all. It just needed a better workout routine.
And that's the big takeaway.
That's the bitter lesson, as some people call it. Just by training longer on more data with smarter puzzles, RoBERTa went on to beat all the supposedly more advanced models that came after BERT.
It proved that just doing the fundamentals really, really well can beat a complex new invention.
It did. Which really makes you wonder,
About what?
Well, it leaves us with this big question. The authors proved BERT wasn't a genius, it was just an undertrained genius. So if we went back and gave other older AI models the same RoBERTa treatment, how many other geniuses are just hiding in plain sight?
That is something to think about. Thanks for listening to our deep dive on RoBERTa.